The scent of freshly cut grass sneaks in through the open school windows, heavy with morning humidity. It's mixed with a faint trace of ammonia, left over from the overzealous start of term deep cleaning. Another school year, fresh off the press, pristine, shrink-wrapped. The corridors are unusually alive with new haircuts and the anxious small talk of too many voices all at once. Every new term feels like this, at least until the initial thrill fades into the everyday grind. I hear my shoes squeak faintly as I climb the still damp stairs to the second floor. Same hallway, same list pinned outside the classroom. Check for my name, Itsuki Ono, class 3-2. The door is already open, so I step in. The classroom layout is nearly identical to last year's, except this time the desks are arranged individually. No pairs. Makes sense. This year is supposed to be more serious, more competitive. After all, university entrance exams are around the corner. The pressure's there, I guess, but it's easier to ignore when you don't have grand ambitions. I've already decided I want to study Japanese language and culture at Ibaraki University. Well, want might be an overstatement. It's tolerable. Close, affordable, and I can make it through the entrance exams without much effort. Especially now that advanced math and physics are electives. So, out of the picture entirely for me. Plus, the commute's manageable. Don't need to move out of my parents' house. I glance over the desks, lined up in neat rows. My eyes go to what used to be my seat the past 2 years. Second to last row, next to the window. But someone's already sitting there. Ren Aizawa. He must have gotten here earlier, which is strange. He never showed up ahead of time. Not once. He was the kind of person who slipped in right before the bell. Exactly on time, but never a second earlier. That first day of second year was no exception. I remember he sat down next to me with a sigh, or maybe just a heavy breath. I had picked that spot because I liked having something to look at, like the glass blurred with rain, or trees bending in the wind. I'm not the kind of person who stares directly at the board. It's easier to listen when my eyes are focused somewhere else, as if the scene helped anchor the words. One time, the rain was so loud it drowned out half of what the teacher was saying. But somehow, I still remember every word of her explanation about, classical grammar forms, as if the water tracing slow, even lines across the window were subtitles. I always liked having something to let my eyes wander to while I listened. But at some point, my eyes stopped drifting outside, landing on him instead. Don't get me wrong, Ren Aizawa was never annoying, nor attention-grabbing. Quite the opposite. He never tapped his fingers, never spun his pencil, never shifted in his chair for no reason. I used to find it strange, borderline creepy. After growing used to it, I thought that maybe it was elegant. Everything he did seemed necessary and deliberate. No wasted energy. Even when he turned a page or adjusted his collar, it was quiet, thoughtful, unbothered, beautiful. I also started to notice the lingering scent of his shampoo, surprisingly soft and floral. And that mole, barely visible under the curve of his lip. Not easy to spot, but impossible to ignore once you know it's there. Like a stuck pixel you keep swiping at, mistaking it for dust. Not that I'd ever reach out and rub my thumb across his mouth. That would be weird. Right? Still, I'm a little curious. Would his skin be warm or to the touch. Would it give way softly under my fingertips, or tense, like the surface of still water just before it ripples? Are his lips soft? Yeah, and here he is, seated like he's been here all morning. Hands folded neatly over his desk, eyes fixed on the sky beyond the glass. I stare for a moment too long, and he notices me. He nods, so I nod back and take the seat behind him. Does he look smug? I find myself wondering if he came early just for that particular spot. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but I find this uncharacteristic display of pettiness kind of cute. After all, having the seat isn't that bad. If anything, makes things easier. Now both Ren and the window are within the same frame. The soft hum of conversations, the rustling papers, and the shifting chairs made me forget I'd been watching Ren like an unwelcome voyeur. However, the school bell drowns out all of the background noise. Kikuchi-sensei, canned coffee in hand, trudges in with the kind of energy, or lack thereof, you'd expect from a Monday morning. He tosses his bag onto the desk and sighs. Stand, he mutters, barely looking up. We all rise from our seats. Bow. We bow. Sit. And he sits as we do. Classic Kikuchi-sensei. Probably believes that standing more than 10 minutes should come with a raise. He takes a sheet from his folder and scratches his chin. Alright, welcome class 3-2. Most of you know me already. Takeshi Kikuchi, English teacher. This year, also your homeroom teacher. Let's do our best this year. Or something. He scans the room, counting heads. I'm just taking attendance today. No self-intros. We've all got better things to do. I peek sideways. Ren hasn't moved. He's still staring out the window, like nothing here concerns him at all. Kikuchi-sensei starts the roll call, reading off names without looking up. Haruto Aiba. Present. Ren Aizawa. Here. Nene Arakawa. Yes? One by one, he checks us off. Once he's done, he tosses the sheet onto the desk and stretches. Like that was the hardest thing he's done in weeks. As you all know, third year means entrance exams. Yay! Sarcasm is paper thin. I'm not gonna give you some motivational speech. You already know it's gonna suck. Whether you're going to university, vocational school, or diving straight into the workforce, you've got decisions to make. Someone in the back groans. Kikuchi-sensei ignores them. Before I forget, the student council has an announcement. Right on cue, after a short, polite knock, the classroom door slides open. Good morning. Sorry to interrupt. I'm Nao Aizawa, class 3-1, student council president. And Ren's younger sister, though they don't look anything alike. Their features can be similar if you look carefully, but the way they carry themselves is too different to even notice the physical resemblance. She walks in with purpose. Her posture so perfect, it makes everyone sit up a little straighter without realizing. Don't worry, I'll keep this brief. We'll be holding the annual club fair tomorrow after classes. It's a great chance to explore new activities or get more involved with your current clubs. All club leaders should have received the participation forms by now. Please submit them to the student council room before noon today. She holds up a stack of stapled forms. If you're planning to start a new club, remember, you'll need at least 3 members, a faculty advisor, and their corresponding signatures. Forms are available outside the council office. A few students whisper to each other, already scheming. And yes, third years can still join new clubs. Just manage your time wisely. So, please, give the club a fair try. It's our last year here. Let's make it count. She bows neatly, smiling as she steps away. That's all. Thank you for your attention. Even if she can be bossy and stuck up, most people genuinely appreciate Aizawa-san's dedication. The moment the door slides shut behind her, everything feels a little dimmer. Kikuchi-sensei stares at the door and sighs. If only we could all be that competent. Then he lazily flips a page from his notebook, struggling to read what I presume is his own handwriting. Okay, now, seat assignments. I'll bring the chart next week. Probably. Hope so. Until then, you can sit wherever you want. Doesn't say how he'll make the chart, but I already know. Leave everyone where they are. Less paperwork, fewer complaints. Or maybe he'll go with alphabetical order if he's inspired, but realistically, leaving the seats as they are is easier. No, that's it. No window seat for me this year. Not unless I fill out a formal seat change request. What would I even write there? Dear Kikuchi-sensei, I require a seat by the window, so my overly sensitive, poetic soul can commune with the breeze during class, making your lessons at least bearable. Yeah, no. Kikuchi-sensei takes a loud sip from his vending machine coffee and continues. Oh, and last thing, we've got a transfer student. Endo-san, please introduce yourself to the class. Following orders, a girl rises from the last row of chairs and struts to the front of the class. Hi! Rika Endo here. Nice to meet you all. She lets out a breath and pauses. I just transferred from Kuriyama, but I'm actually from Tamura. And the room falls silent. Tamura. It had been mentioned enough on the news last year for everyone to know where it is. Near Fukushima Daiichi. And just with that, we all understand that she isn't here because of a job or family reasons. She's probably here because she can't go back home. Endo-san doesn't need to further explain the situation, so she doesn't. Instead, she continues with her introduction as if nothing happened. Oh, I love swimming, the beach, and everything sea-related. Oh, also, I can't sit still for long, so I really hope this class doesn't bore me to death. Silence reigns for a moment as the class processes what happened, until a few chuckles rise, easing the tension. With a cheeky smile, Endo-san turns towards our teacher. So, sensei, make sure your lessons are fun! Kikuchi-sensei raises an eyebrow. I'll consider it. Don't expect too much. More laughter. Endo-san's amazing at lifting the mood. A pretty convenient skill if you ask me. I'm so very looking forward to meeting all of you! Please, take care of me. She gives a dramatic, sweeping bow, and returns to the empty seat behind Eren Aizawa. How didn't I even notice she was sitting there? And that's it. No actual classes today. Go home. Relax. Don't do anything stupid. See you tomorrow. And he's gone before half of us even stand up. By the time I realize it, Ren has vanished too. It even makes me wonder if he didn't jump out the window. I peek toward the back of the class. Cluster of classmates already gathering around Endo-san's desk. At least it seems she won't have any trouble fitting in. As Kikuchi-sensei told us to do, I head into the hallway, planning to make my way home, but before I can take more than a few steps... Ono-san? Aizawa-san. We haven't received a participation form from the photography club yet, so I wanted to ask, do you plan to take part in the club fair tomorrow? Ah, right. The photography club. To be honest, I don't think it'll continue this year. Most of the members are third years, and the few first and second years who joined never really stuck around. By the end of last term, barely anyone but me and a small group of third years were showing up. Technically, I'm the most senior member now, which means it'd be my responsibility to keep the club alive. But I don't see myself taking the lead. Sadly, I don't think I'll be joining the club activities this year. The photography club just wouldn't be the same without all the third years who graduated. Even if that's not the whole reason I'm not interested in keeping the photography club alive, it's actually true. I did have a good relationship with my upperclassmen. Well, mostly upper-class women. Even if I tried to rebuild the club from scratch, it wouldn't be my photography club anymore. Ah, I see. That makes sense. Aizawa-san stops, thoughtful. Still, please give the club a fair chance tomorrow. Maybe some other club grabs your attention, and you can find new people to share your interests with. See you there. She walks off with her usual composed grace, but still a bit distracted, deep in thoughts. I guess I wasn't completely lying. Maybe that's why she took me seriously. After unnecessarily worrying Aizawa-san, I head home, spending more time than necessary loafing in the sun. The next morning, the smell of ammonia and freshly cut grass has faded a little with the hustle and bustle of any given day. I step into the classroom, a few students already in their seats. Ben hasn't arrived yet, with my window seat unoccupied as evidence. I should... I think I'll just sit in the same place as yesterday, actually. I leave the seat he had claimed the previous day for him. In exchange, I get to enjoy the view of his desk. Which, given his typical level activity, is objectively as exciting as watching moss grow on a rock. But let's say that, in my subjective point of view, moss can be fairly interesting. A few minutes later, as I expected, he arrives, his eyes scanning the room as he crosses the class doorway. When he spots the desk I have purposefully left for him, there's a barely perceptible pause in his step. And then, the bell rings, and he slips into the seat beside me without a word. I can't help but notice the subtle movements out of my peripheral vision. So naturally, my gaze darts once again towards Ren Aizawa. And for the first time, I catch him looking back. And it hits me. I'm not exactly subtle, am I? It wouldn't take a genius to figure it out. I'm infatuated with Ren Aizawa. Even if I never say it out loud, let alone act on it. Not because Ren is a boy, at least not just because of that. It's because I'm Itsuki Ono. And Itsuki Ono wouldn't talk about feelings he has no business having. This thing with Ren, whatever it is, has never felt possible enough to be dangerous, so I just keep it to myself. If anything, Ren being a guy makes it easier to keep this a secret. No one expects it. No one looks for it. So, as long as I don't give myself away, it blends into the background. One more quiet, meaningless little secret in a quiet, meaningless person's life. Still, in this moment, with his pitch black eyes on me, I wonder if I've been more obvious than I thought. Am I making him uncomfortable? Did I upset him? Would I even be able to tell if I actually did upset him? I look away first, pretending to dig through my bag, heat creeping up my neck. And just like that, the class carries on. But that one moment lingers with me the whole day, making me too embarrassed to look back at either him or the window. At least my new fixation on the board and my own notebook has made my notes on the syllabus guides much neater than the years before. Inspiring. After class, I went to the school library to borrow a few of this term's required reading books. The place was quiet, mercifully so, and smelled faintly of dust, old paper, and lemony disinfectant. I was getting books for class, so it wasn't like I had much choice. Still, I took my time browsing the shelves slowly, fingers trailing across the spines. I checked out 3 books in total, hugging them to my chest as I walked through the corridors. Even though class ended a while ago, the school grounds are still full of life. Oh, right! The club fair! I'd completely forgotten. Sorry, Aizawa-san. The moment I step out, the noise hits me. The school entrance is full with tables set up with colorful displays. Students calling out to passers-by with pamphlets and awkward smiles. I walk past the group offering samples from the cooking club, which I politely refuse, afraid of the potential food poisoning. Another table even has a karaoke mic set up, with someone shamelessly butchering some old power ballad. But then, something else catches my eye. A small booth, if you can even call it that, barely more than a single classroom desk and a few poorly arranged pamphlets. Sitting behind it, with the same bright-eyed energy she had during her class introduction, is Endo-san. She's handing out leaflets, grinning as if she was running the biggest, coolest, most exciting booth in the whole fair. The sign taped to the front of the desk reads in bold, messy handwriting, "End of the World Club." That ridiculous name makes me stop in my tracks. And so does Aizawa-san, who now stands in front of the booth. Arms crossed. What is this supposed to be? Endo-san beams, undeterred. If anything, her grin gets brighter. Oh, Aizawa-chan, would you like to learn more about the End of the World Club? I'd have liked to learn about it yesterday, through the club registration form. Also, where did you even get that desk from? I carried it downstairs. Huh? I'm still rooted to the spot, hidden behind the 3 books pressed against me. Neither of them seems to notice me. Wait, is there an elevator? That's not the issue here. The issue is that this is the first time I'm hearing of this End of the World Club. Oh, perfect. Let me explain. She pulls a pamphlet from the stack and waves it dramatically towards Aizawa-san, who mindlessly takes it. Did you know that the ancient Maya calendar says that the world is meant to end this year? This year, Aizawa-chan? December 21st, 2012. It's practically around the corner. That theory has already been debunked several times. Sure, if you want to believe the scientists and archaeologists and their so-called evidence. But what if they're wrong? What if this is our final year on Earth? Did you just casually drop that as some sort of club requirement pitch? Think about it. If the world really is ending in a few months, we can't just waste our time pretending to care about entrance exams. You said we've got to make this year count. That's what the End of the World Club is all about.
I'd stare at the sign again. End of the World Club. It's the kind of name you'd expect from a parody skit, not an actual club proposal.
We need to make the most of our time before the curtain drops. Do something new. Break out of routines. Let's stop acting like life's just happening to us.
To stop acting like life's just happening to us. That line hits me surprisingly hard for such an absurd speech. Aizawa-san is probably deciding whether to report this to a teacher or just leave. But
That sounds interesting.
The voice catches all of us off guard.
Ren?
Then Aizawa steps forward, casually plucking one of the neon-printed handouts from the stack. He scans it like he's flipping through a takeout menu.
You told me not to go straight home after class, didn't you? Try a club, meet people, yada yada yada. So, here I am.
And didn't you find any other clubs you like?
Nuh-uh. This one has a certain appeal.
I'm having a hard time trying to figure out whether Ren is serious or joking.
See, Aizawa-chan? He gets it. No, of course he doesn't. This isn't even a real club. That's why he's interested. Yet, it's not a real club yet. We only need 3 members to register. Wait, 2? 3 including me? And he counts, right?
I better too. I already made a life-altering decision.
He has to be joking.
You just picked up a pamphlet.
It's a start.
Yay! So we just need 1 more member. Aizawa-chan. Do you want to join us? You're out of your mind. Also, you need another member and an advisor. Good luck trying to convince an actual adult to join this nonsense.
Ren's expression shifts. Wait, was he actually serious about joining?
I'm an adult now.
Then start acting like one.
Before her brother can say anything back, Aizawa-san leaves, with a scrunched pamphlet still in her hand, her decisive strides louder than usual. Ren doesn't follow her. He stands there, one hand holding his colorful handouts, the other curling at his side. Endo-san forces a laugh. It comes out stilted.
Ren, Aizawa-kun, was it? So, do you, have any ideas about who could be our 3rd member?
He tilts his head.
I'd say he looks interested.
Wait, me? I blink once, twice, and then realize both Ren and Endo-san are now looking directly at me.
He does?
There's a pause, like the world itself is politely giving me a chance to say something, to deny it, laugh it off, or pretend this is all a misunderstanding. That would be the sensible thing to do, right? But instead, Ren casually holds out his pamphlet. A bright, ridiculous neon-colored pamphlet that reads, "The End of the World Club. Live like you mean it." And before I can even think it through, I take it. It's not even a conscious decision. I accept the pamphlet with all the presence of someone taking a flyer for a gym they will never attend. I glance down at the paper now in my hand. It's cheaply printed and has badly drawn dude of a mushroom cloud on the corner. Endo-san gasps in delight.
You're interested? That's amazing! You're amazing! I knew you had the vibe with someone who thinks deeply about the impermanence of reality.
I have no idea what that means, but she's thrilled. I attempt a reply, but my mouth is dry. Probably from shock, or fear, or the fact that Ren Aizawa is still watching me. Watching me. Like he's actually waiting for something. And I have no idea how to handle that. I just thought the name was kind of weird. It's a terrible cover. But somehow, Endo-san nods in approval?
Exactly! The shock value. That's what makes it perfect.
Oh, there's no way out of this, is there? But maybe I don't want a way out of this. The thought strays in. Uninvited, but not entirely unwelcome. I check again the paper in my hand. Still a bit warm from Ren's fingers. I don't believe for a second that the world is ending this year, or next year, or the year after. I don't believe in Inshin, in Mayan doomsday conspiracy theories. But I do believe in excuses. This is probably the best one I'll ever have to get to know Ren better. It's not like I'm delusional. I'm not expecting anything romantic. I'm not that reckless. If anything, I've always considered myself a pretty realistic and self-aware person. But maybe this is the only way I'll ever get close enough to know what kind of books he reads. Or what kind of music he likes, or why his eyes are always glued to that window. So, why not? I'll think about it. It's barely more than a mumble, but Endo-san hears it like I just pledged allegiance to her entire cause.
You'll think about it. That's practically a yes! I mean, that's totally a yes.
She does a little celebratory spin behind the desk, nearly knocking over her stack of pamphlets.
Okay, I'll take care of the paperwork and all the boring bureaucracy stuff. We don't want Aizawa-chan to murder us.
She flashes an exaggerated "okay" sign. Way too energetic for someone talking about administrative paperwork.
You guys focus on the important stuff. Thinking about what you want to do before the world ends. Bucket list, dream goals, unresolved grudges. Go wild.
Anyway, we have no time to waste. See ya! She bundles her flyers into a messy stack and disappears into the fair booths, leaving her own poorly decorated desk behind. I fumble a vague goodbye, but she probably doesn't hear me. After a short, awkward silence, Ren gives me a nod of farewell and walks off down another corridor. I stay there for a second longer before shaking myself out of it and heading the opposite way. I stop my stroll at the line of cherry trees next to the school gates. They're in full bloom today. Delicate pinks, catching in the sun, soft petals falling down with elegance. Yeah, cliche, I know. You often say so about cherry blossoms. But the thing is, they are lovely. Not in any spectacular, earth-shattering way. So, I get the overrated allegations, but I do find them beautiful.
So I put my books into my bag and take out my digital camera. It's a bit old and scratched around the edges, with a piece of tape holding the battery in place. It takes a few seconds to switch on, and makes a little whirr, but it still does the job. I lose track of time pretty fast, fiddling with exposure settings and waiting for the right breeze of wind to scatter the petals just so.
You look like a tourist.
Huh? I jumped startled, almost dropping my camera. When I turn, Ren is standing there, hands in his pockets, hair disheveled. I thought you were going home. He shrugs, staring at the tree branches above us.
Didn't want to be now on my way back, so I took a nap on the rooftop instead.
Ah, that would explain the bedhead. How long was I out there? He doesn't answer. Maybe he doesn't know either. Then his stomach growls. He flinches barely and his hand goes to his abdomen like he can silence it by sheer will.
It probably was a long nap.
He looks back at me.
Did you eat yet?
I shake my hand. Head, I didn't have lunch, thinking I would skip the club fair and leave the school sooner. He points vaguely in the direction of the streets.
There's a family restaurant close by.
He probably means Hoshino's. Warm, welcoming, and a fairly good quality price trade-off. Yeah, I know. It's not far. He pauses and asks again, more directly this time.
Wanna come?
My brain short circuits at the casual offer. I should say no. I mean, I shouldn't, but I should. Right? Right? Yeah, I'll go. No. Okay. Oh, I mean, yes, that would be nice. I somehow managed to spurt those words without stuttering too much. He just nods, as calm as ever.
Cool. Let's go then.
It takes me a few seconds to realize he's waiting for me to move first. Makes sense. Right now, he's already a few steps closer to the restaurant than I am. When I fall into step beside him, I feel like my autonomic nervous system just shuts down, having to awkwardly remind myself how to breathe and walk at the same time. Being next to Ren Aizawa shouldn't make me this anxious. After all, I've spent a whole year sitting just inches from him. But this time it's different. This is the first time he's spending time with me of his own volition. Like some sort of date. Date. Weird choice of words, but I'm sure he would call it that. For him, this would be a hangout at best. Maybe he's just embarrassed to go to a restaurant alone, or perhaps he's avoiding being confronted by his sister. Still, I'm glad that my presence is more comfortable than hunger or a table for one. Our walk to Hoshino's is mostly quiet. I could have come up with some kind of conversation starter, but I was too busy focusing on my walk, breathe, repeat choreography to be eloquent. I haven't been to Hoshino's in a while. It used to be a regular stop after photography club meetings, back when we stayed late enough to need dinner nearby. Now, the familiar chime at the door feels a bit nostalgic. Doesn't say anything at first. He just steps inside like he's done it 100 times before, which he probably has. We sit in silence for a few seconds that drag way too long for my taste, but don't seem to disturb him in the slightest. Do you
come here often?
Not anymore. But used to. A couple years ago. With my sister.
Oh, with Aizawa-san. I sound more shocked than I meant to, but in my defense, it's hard to picture Aizawa-san eating in a place like this.
She's Aizawa-san too. But not now. Yui, my older sister.
So, he's a middle child. This is him way more than the responsible older brother vibe.
She lives in Tokyo now.
A server interrupts, dropping by with the menus. We both reach for it at the same time, our hands too close to brushing for my poor heart to handle. I jerk my hand back and offer it to him instead. After all, I always order the same thing.
I don't need it.
He tries to hand me the menu, but I clumsily wave my hands in refusal. No need. I already know what I'm getting.
I'm not the kind of person who insists out of politeness. I really don't want it.
I give in and take it, reluctantly flipping through the pages just for the sake of it. As I do so, I notice him checking the restaurant's clock. Then he tilts his head up, brows furrowed in concentration. Is he trying to figure out the time in another country? I don't mean to be rude, but can I ask, what are you doing? He looks at me, confused by the sudden question.
Adding the digits. To know what to order.
I blink, perplexed.
What's listed as dish number 24?
Fried whitefish with tartar sauce. Which happens to be my usual choice. Lucky.
Sounds good.
Of course it sounds good. It is good. The best, actually. Have you had it before?
Probably. Used to come here lots. I think I've had everything on the menu at some points.
That shouldn't annoy me. People eat food. People forget food. It's normal. But Hoshino's fried whitefish is my favorite. The tartar sauce alone makes it a top 5 dish in the whole city. An absolute winner if you take into account the ridiculously low price. The fact that he can't even remember if he had it at all is vaguely offensive. What else could they serve here to not find that heavenly fried whitefish with tartar sauce at least remarkable? I read the rest of the menu again, more mindfully this time. Come to think of it, I don't remember trying any of the other dishes either. The menu probably changed 2 or 3 times since I fell in love with the whitefish. It's a miracle they still serve it. Reading all the dishes' names, it crosses my mind that maybe Hoshino's fried whitefish with tartar sauce is not that special. Maybe I should try something else, even if it's just to empirically validate the superiority of fried whitefish. He's already staring at me when I look up, waiting patiently for me to finish.
Did you decide?
I think I want to try everything here.
Today?
No, of course not. I just meant... I always get the same thing, but maybe it'd be good to try the other dishes sometime.
I see. For the end of the world bucket list?
Huh?
You said you want to try everything. Sounds like a bucket list. That's what Endo told us to make, isn't it?
Right. I almost forgot about that weird club I joined just to spend more time with Ren Aizawa, who happens to be sitting in front of me right now. So apparently it's working somehow. Now that you mention it, it sounds like a good end of the world's resolution.
It does. Any other resolutions?
For the club, you mean? He nods. I don't think it would be wise to tell him I joined just to orbit his general vicinity like a
hopeless hormonal satellite. I still have to think about it. He stares at me, waiting for an actual answer right here and now. Does he really take this seriously? I'm still trying to figure that out. What about you, Aizawa-san?
Nothing yet. Just wanted to hear your answer. I tend to put things off. That's why I like having a set doomsday. It's like a real deadline.
I can't help but smile at the absurd statements. Really? For me, it's pretty inconvenient. Actually, I think they should just delay it. It ruins my birthday. He laughs. It's a loud, sudden nasal sound that clashes with his usual monotone voice. Reminds me of a duck's quack. I can see how someone might find it too loud or annoying, but I'm biased enough to think it's refreshing and kind of adorable.
Well, we can snooze it somehow then.
Waiter approaches. Which reminds me, I still haven't decided what dish will kick off my impromptu culinary experiment. When I look down at the menu, I've been nervously fidgeting with this whole time. The first thing my eyes land on is a big illustration of curry with rice, so that's what I go with. After taking our order, the waiter walks off, menu in hand. I sit quietly for a bit after the interruption, but this time, it doesn't feel awkward. Then, it's him who breaks the silence.
By the way, don't call me Aizawa-san. Ren is fine.
No way. Too short, too casual, and completely against every etiquette rule my parents drilled into me. At one point, my father's company tried switching to first name basis to better accommodate international clients. A few months later, HR reversed the entire policy. The reason? Some employees had marital problems because their spouses overheard half a phone call and got the wrong idea. I'd rather not.
Can I ask why?
Because what he sees as efficient communication, I see as emotionally loaded familiarity. If Ren Aizawa becomes just Ren, going from 6 syllables to 2 syllables, thinking about him will become 3 times easier. And God only knows what kind of elaborate scenarios my brain will start fabricating if given that kind of power. I don't answer. He sighs.
I grew up in a family of 5. I'm the least Aizawa-san-ish of them all. You call now Aizawa-san too, don't you?
I think sharing a surname is fairly common between siblings. Sadly, that joke doesn't land as well as the last one. I think it was funny though.
It's confusing. I have to think twice to know if you're talking to me.
Does it really hurt that much to think twice? But it's true. When I think of Aizawa-san, the first person to come to mind is now Aizawa. So maybe I should give it a try. Ren. Ren! I feel my face overheating just from the thought. Nope, impossible. At least for now. How about Ren? Aizawa-san? He doesn't look satisfied.
Long, but could work.
Saved by the bell. The waiter's already back with our food. Oshino's efficiency never fails. We both thank him, and he walks off without a word. My dish looks and smells better than expected. Let's eat! I dig in, doing my best not to look at his plate. No need to rub salt in my own wound. I'm usually not big on spicy food, but this is mild enough for me to handle. Tasty even. I feel like I could finish the whole thing as long as I keep my water close.
Itsuki?
Said water goes down the wrong pipe. I cough aggressively. Yes. He points at a big laminated board next to the counter.
There are 58 items on Hoshino's menu. 8 drinks, 6 desserts, 44 dishes between mains and appetizers.
Maybe it's the undiagnosed astigmatism I've been suspecting of lately, but there is no way I could count the menu entries from here. However, I don't doubt him.
If you came here once a week, you'd still have 9 left by December 21st.
I don't feel confident enough to question his quick math. Definitely not my strong suit. And he seems to have practice with all those weird number-adding rituals of his. He's making a point. Even if I don't think the world is ending, it should be, by definition, a reasonable assumption to make for all of my end-of-the-world bucket list entries. He continues.
But if you happen to want to share food today, he glances at me. Only 8.
Oh. What a roundabout way to ask for a bite of my curry.
Which, to be fair, looks, smells, and tastes decent.
I'd still trade it for his whitefish in a heartbeat, though. No convoluted logic needed.
And if I tagged along from time to time, you'd finish the menu.
Oh. He's not just suggesting we share food now. He's suggesting repeatedly sharing food over months. I feel like something like a balloon inflated my chest. A bright, obnoxiously rose-colored balloon that I try to pop with logic. Because if I don't, I might just float out the window. Speaking of windows, despite Hoshino's fair amount of natural light, he hasn't looked outside once. He must really like this place. I get it. Coming back alone to a place you love when you used to share with someone can feel lonely. I think I feel the same way about the photography club. Or about visiting Grandma's house. Of course, there's no reason for him to commit to coming here with me again. He could ask anyone. Someone different each time, even. Eden doesn't strike me as particularly sociable, though. Maybe asking people's too much of a hassle. Wait, Eden?
Sorry, didn't mean to.
I didn't even notice I'd zoned out. No, I mean, yes, don't worry. I'd love to come here again.
That was already implied.
With you, I mean. I look down and shovel a spoonful of curry into my mouth, hoping I can blame the heart, the heat, for the growing flush in my cheeks. His smile doesn't help with the redness of my face.
I'm glad.
We eat in silence for a bit while I still process what he just said. I can't help but notice how he's even more of a slow eater than me. And I could swear my curry is multiplying on the plate. That's odd. If I were him, I'd have demolished that whitefish already. Then he stops eating altogether.
We should switch. We're splitting, aren't we?
Oh, thank God. The idea of letting fried whitefish go to waste would have haunted me forever. I nod in approval and set my spoon down on the napkin, sliding the curry plate toward him. I watch as he pushes the fish tray in my direction. I reach for a pair of chopsticks from the utensil holder, ready to dig in, but I've got manners, so I wait. Eden doesn't move. His expression is blank, eyes fixed on nothing. No, wait, he is looking at something, my spoon. I keep my gaze on the fish, pretending I didn't notice, silently trying to convince him to let it go. He finally gives in. With a sigh, he stands and walks to the counter to get a new spoon. As he heads over, An idea crosses my mind. I dig around in my bag until I find my notebook and set it down on the table. While I'm still fumbling for a pen, Ren returns.
Looking for something?
Yeah, I needed something to write with. I say, not even looking up from my bag. How's it possible that I can't find a single pen when I've been taking notes in class all day?
Here.
Ren reaches into his pocket and pulls out a handful of assorted promotional pens. Where did you get all these? He gestures to his tie.
Club fair. They thought it was a first year.
At many schools, students wear different ties to indicate their year. One color for first years, another for second years, and so on. That's how it used to work at ours, too. Or at least that's what some of the teachers say. Eventually, though, someone pointed out that buying a new tie every year was wasteful. So they switched to a new system. Each incoming promotion is assigned a tie color, which they keep for all 3 years. Our class wears red ties. However, Ren's is green. That's because he repeated a year. It doesn't happen often here, so the school didn't really consider that when they came up with the new system. Now, green has become the color for first years. This first year's. He probably should have asked it for a new tile a while ago, but I guess he just didn't care enough to bother.
You can take one.
I take a closer look at the pens. Most of them are fairly standard. Solid colors with the names and logos of various clubs printed in plain fonts. But without a doubt, the one that immediately catches my eye is a bright orange pen. I'm confident it's from the basketball club, given the squishy looking little basketball that tops the clicker. Which one should I pick? I reach for the orange pen, but I meet resistance. It's still caught by the other end, tightly clasped between his fingers.
Not that one.
Oh?
Took me ages to get it. That basketball club guy wouldn't let me go. If I were a 15-year-old, I'd apparently be pretty tall. Also, it's a really cool pen.
His unusual excitement about that trinket is contagious.
It is. Honestly, I just wanted to show it off. Never planned to use it, so... Could you pick another one?
I pick up the literature club pen, and he slips the rest back into his pockets. Thanks.
You can keep that one. Still be surprised if I ask for it back when I lose the others in, like, a week or so.
He settles back into his seat as I flip through my notebook, looking for a blank page.
So, what are you gonna write in there?
A food diary. I will try to rate and review every dish here. That part comes out easy enough. And I'd like you to do it too. If you're up for it. I mean, maybe we could figure out your favorite. I probably overstepped with that last line, but being curious about someone's preferences isn't necessarily romantic, right?
Not great at that kind of thing, but I'll give it a shot. After we eat this, it's gonna get cold.
Even slightly cold. Oceano's fried whitefish doesn't disappoint. Not that I expected it to, though Ren definitely took more than his fair share of tartar sauce. When I glance up for my plate, he's already finished his. I flip open my notebook to the blank page I found earlier. I write the dates and draw a quick grid, well, straight as I can manage, leaving space for a short review and a score from 1 to 5. Done. I scribble down a couple of sentences and give the curry a 3 out of 5. The whitefish a well-deserved 5 out of 5, then hand the notebook and pen over to Ren. You don't have to do it if you don't want to. I just thought it might be fun.
I think it is, but how am I supposed to rate it? What's the baseline here? Do I count that it's Hoshino's cooking, or am I supposed to judge it like it's some random meal? Or maybe just as a general sensory experience? Am I rating how much I liked it, or how well it was actually made? Should I break it down into flavor, presentation, ingredients, and all that technical stuff?
I think that might be the longest thing I've ever heard him say in one go. You can do it however you want.
And How did you do it?
Good question. I honestly have no idea. I think I formed the score first in my head and only try to justify it afterward. Not exactly the most rational process. I just went with my gut, really.
Got it.
He still looks unsure, but he starts writing. He glances at me, then the notebook, then back at me. After that, he covers what he's writing with his other hand. Alright, I get it. I won't peek. He crosses something out a couple of times before settling on what the final version is. Then he closes the notebook and hands it back to me with both hands, like he's making sure I don't open it right away. Of course, I don't check what he's written there yet, even though I'm dying of curiosity inside. The sun is lower now. I noticed some people at the entrance waiting for a table, so we pay and leave Hoshino's just as quietly as we came in. I step out first, holding the door, and he follows with a nod of thanks. Same familiar chime rings behind us as the doors swing shut. We walk side by side for a short while. When we reach the main intersection, Ren slows down.
This way is faster for me.
He gestures vaguely towards one of the side streets. Right. Okay. I stand there for a second that's probably shorter than it feels.
Thanks for the food trade.
Thanks for the pen. I feel stupid. What an awkward thing to say. He gives a short, quiet laugh through his nose, then he lifts a hand in a sort of wave and turns down the street without much ceremony. I'd love to tell him that I'm not as much of a loser as I can probably look right now. That I keep catching myself grinning like an idiot for no reason, but I swear I'm not always like this. I don't really know how to put my feelings into words without my feelings slipping out. But I still try. Ren! He turns around, surprised. I step forward. Thank you for asking me. My voice falters, but I push on. I really am looking forward to coming back again. I do my best to keep my eyes locked into his and not shy away this time. Oh, with you, I mean. And then smiles fondly.
I'm glad. See you tomorrow, Itsuki.
I hold on to the notebook a little tighter as I watch him walk away, hoping my heart stops racing at some point. When his silhouette starts blurring into the sunset, I look down at the worn-out leather cover in my hands. I'm itching to know what he wrote here. I wait a few seconds. I'm sure he's far enough to not notice me opening it. This handwriting's surprisingly neat for a guy our age, but still a bit tricky to read with all the scratch-outs. After a moment, I managed to make out the words. Not fishy enough, but seeing Itsuki enjoy it so much was interesting.
2 out of 5.
2 out of 5? What does not fishy enough even mean? Maybe it would have been fishy enough if he'd actually eaten the fish instead of just the sauce. Even if Ren Aizawa is now officially banned from having a valid opinion on food, morbid curiosity still gets the better of me, so I check what he wrote about the curry anyway.
It was good, but could handle a bit more spice.
4 out of 5. So, curry and rice is allegedly twice as good as fried whitefish? Ha! He's completely out of his mind. And why would he want it any spicier? Is he a masochist? Gastro-terrorism at its finest. Ugh, I read those sentences over a few more times before closing the notebook. I try to stay annoyed, but the corners of my mouth betray me whenever I think about the way he wrote my name. I collapsed onto the bed without even changing my clothes. I lie there, sprawled for a couple of minutes. My stomach twists as I regret letting Mom guilt trip me into having just a small dinner. This isn't exactly what people mean by butterflies in your stomach, but I have to admit that I feel like a character in a cheesy teen romance. Fiddling with the pen Ren gave me and smiling like a fool. Eventually found my own pen at the bottom of the bag, wedged between two of the books I borrowed from the school library. Still, I'll selfishly keep this one as a token of Ren's unconventional kindness. He really did spoil me today, after all. I replayed the director's cut of this evening in my head. His messy hair after that nap. Oh, he leaned in when I talked. That strange squawk of a laugh. The way he said my name. I can already picture future me cringing at this exact moment. In hindsight, I probably looked like a creep too when I left the dinner table earlier, claiming I have a stomach ache, which was in fact true, but grinning from ear to ear. Yet my parents didn't seem to notice, or at least didn't care enough to comment. Even from my room, head buried in the pillow, I can still hear them talking. Usual back and forth, the two people have had the same conversations for decades. However, at some point, Dad's voice lifts a little, piquing my curiosity.
Remember Sakurai-san from work? His daughter just got back from the States.
Oh, right. The smart one.
Yeah, the one he never shuts up about. Anyway, turns out she brought someone back with her. A girlfriend.
A what? Wasn't she, well, a girl?
You know, a girlfriend. Must have picked it up over there. That's what happens when you send them off to study abroad.
Different culture, I guess. She's still young.
Exactly. I told them not to lose hope. There's still a chance for grandkids.
And they laugh it off. I stare at the ceiling. After all, they're just a couple of old people from the countryside. They're trying to play pretend at city life. It's the same old story. Nothing new under the sun, really. However, understanding where they're coming from doesn't make them any easier to listen to. As soon as the ache dulls a little, I get up and quietly close the door. Better to just ignore it and not dwell on things too much. Since I'm already on my feet, I figure I might as well change. Out of habit, I empty my pockets, my jacket pockets onto the desk. There it is. That ridiculous pamphlet. I know I thought it looked awful at first, but the bold design choices are starting to grow on me. Even though I'm not a big fan of maximalism, there's something charmingly grunge in going for such a colorful aesthetic to write about the world ending soon. Guess that's what Endo-san meant by shock value. What a weird club. It's pretty much the last coherent thought I formed before crawling back into my bed and falling asleep. The scent of ammonia and freshly cut grass can no longer be discerned, completely washed out by the familiar rhythm of yet another school day. As I step into the classroom, the first thing I hear is Endo-san deep in conversation with Kikuchi-sensei. Let me get this straight. You've started a club to end the world?
Not exactly. The world's going to end all on its own. It has nothing to do with us. Or anyone, really.
Then trying to, what? Stop it or something?
Nope. We'll just accept it and embrace the idea.
So, you're not stopping anything? For some reason, he sounds relieved. And
When exactly is this end of the world thing supposed to happen?
December 21st,
she says cheerfully.
Fantastic. About damn time.
Sometimes I wonder how much of Kikuchi-sensei's pessimism is real and how much is just performative.
Then, Sensei, are you in? We still need a faculty advisor.
Sure. Why not?
Endo-san claps her hands theatrically, then switches to English with an exaggerated, borderline offensive American accent.
Thank you so very much, teacher!
And that's it. We have an advisor now, I guess. The bell rings as I return to my seat, distracting me from worrying too much about our homeroom teacher's psychological well-being. Then gets into the seat beside mine, stealthy as always. I usually notice him right away, but this time I was just too immersed in the conversation.
Did he just...
Of course, he was eavesdropping too. I think so.
No, shouldn't think so highly of adults.
He looks lost in his own thoughts, so I don't bother saying anything back. What even makes someone an adult? I wonder what his opinion on that is. Is it some switch that flips the moment you turn 18? Or when you graduate high school? Or after you sign a lease and start paying for your own groceries? People come up with all kinds of arbitrary thresholds, really. What's so different between that and just picking a random date on the calendar and deciding that particular day, the world ends? To me, that would sound just as ridiculous. If you ask my parents, they'd probably say being an adult is all about getting your priorities straight and quitting useless activities like the photography club. Outgrowing pointless crushes like the one I have on Ren. Not that I ever told my parents about Ren, but I'm sure that for them, he'd end up in the same box as all the other beautiful, unnecessary things in life. Maybe it's true. Maybe growing up means letting go of that kind of softness. At least pretending to do so. After classes, the three of us make our way to the student council office. Endo-san holds the signed form, radiating joy. I also catch the shadow of a curious smile on Eren's mouth, subtle enough to miss unless you've spent an unreasonable amount of time studying his micro-expressions. Which, unfortunately, I have. Just in case that wasn't already obvious. Meanwhile, I'm stuck somewhere between confused and quietly panicking, trying to anticipate what Aizawa-san's reaction to all this is going to be. Just as we reach the door, it slides open. Aizawa-san steps out, but she stops as her eyes land on us. And I'm pretty sure I just saw her jaw tense. Endo-san?
Oh, perfect timing! We got the club forms!
Without hesitation, Endo-san thrusts the papers towards her. Aizawa-san takes them, her expression unreadable as she begins flipping through the pages. Her brow furrows. Then she sighs as she puts the sheets down. This is a mess.
Wait, what? Why?
First of all, your signature and Kikuchi-sensei's are switched.
Oopsie, my bad.
Also, this section here, she taps the page with her index finger, was supposed to be filled out by the student council. What even is this ID code?
Oh, that! I just made one up. I thought that'd save you guys some time.
Aizawa-san closes her eyes, pinching the bridge of her nose. Don't worry, I can fix it. I glance at Ren. Glances back, eyebrows raised. Why would she do that? Apparently we aren't subtle because Aizawa-san looks up and answers the question we didn't ask. Even if this club's premise is questionable at best, something Endo-san said is true. There's no way to say with absolute certainty that the world won't end this year. Low probability isn't the same as zero, and if there's even a small chance, I have to contemplate that scenario. Being responsible means evaluating all possibilities, even the unlikely ones, and understanding the consequences of every action accordingly. If the world did end, and I hadn't even listened to what Endo-san had to say, it wouldn't sit right with me. The three of us stare at each other, confused.
Oh, no. I'm worried. You spent all night thinking that up, didn't you?
Not really. I'm just a lot smarter than you, so it didn't take me that long.
Oh, right.
She lifts her chin, graceful. And yes, I still got my 8 hours of beauty sleep. Thanks for your concern.
Endo-san looks like she might explode from relief or joy, or maybe both.
OMG! Thank you! Oh, you are literally saving our asses! Aizawa-chan, you are so smart and reliable! You're the best!
Aizawa-san clears her throat, the faintest hint of a blush in her cheeks. Endo-san may come off as a bit of an airhead, but she's already weaponizing Aizawa-san's sensitivity to compliments. I think that's both impressive and a little scary.
By the way,
her gaze drops to the floor as she idly twirls a strand of her hair.
I don't know if it's too late, but I'd like to join the club too.
Endo-san gasps, bursting with excitement.
Oh, seriously? I mean, I still think most of your sources are too unscientific. Half of what you cited in that pamphlet were just blog posts. But it's worth researching. From a risk assessment standpoint. What?
Endo-san throws her arms around her in an unfiltered burst of emotion.
Ah, I'm so happy!
Aizawa-san doesn't exactly reciprocate, but doesn't push her away either. Which I'm sure Endo-san takes as a victory. Ren, for his part, looks absolutely flabbergasted, and I don't think my expression right now is much different. Aizawa-san definitely spent the whole night thinking about apocalypse conspiracy theories.
Okay, now we just need to contact Kikuchi-sensei and get the forms re-signed. I hope he's still here. He's supposed to have homeroom duties this afternoon. Also, I think I can generate a new ID code from the student council office computer. If it hasn't frozen again, of course. Thank you so much, Aizawa-chan. See you tomorrow.
Ahem! Where do you think you're going?
Endo-san freezes mid-step as Aizawa-san grabs a handful of her jacket.
You're not running away this time, Endo-san. I already had to clean up all your mess yesterday. Do you think that desk just went back to the class all by itself? Sorry. You're staying here and helping me fix this. I won't do it all on my own again.
Endo-san pouts like a toddler being scolded.
Yes, ma'am.
What a good time to make a dignified retreat. I take a peek at Ren, then the stairs, then back at him. He nods discreetly. Understood. See you tomorrow. We both turn in sync, walking away at a casual but very determined pace. I check over my shoulder, hoping they're too busy to chase us down. When I do so, I catch a glimpse of Aizawa-san dragging Endo-san to the students' council office. I try to match Ren's longer strides until we're well past the school gates. Then, without a warning, he stops in his tracks. I stop too, staring at his back. He bends forward, wheezing with laughter. A pond full of waterfowl. It's so contagious that I can't help but chuckle too, even if I'm not sure what we're laughing about.
What even was that? I honestly have no idea. I catch my breath, still smiling, and turn my head back towards the school. There's that familiar scent of freshly cut grass in the air again, mixed with something sweeter I can't quite put my finger on. I do feel kind of bad for her, though.
Which one?
Now that I think about it, probably both. He snorts again. Softer this time, but just as ungraceful. We don't say much after that. Just keep walking towards the intersection. Laughter still warm in the air between us. Above us, cherry blossoms tint everything in a soft, dreamy hue. Petals brush against our shoulders and hair as they fall, casting pink shadows that shift with the breeze. His cheeks are still flushed, his eyes still damp, catching the last of this spring sun's filtered light. It's funny how the first thing that drew me to Ren was that composed stillness of his. For me, Ren was someone I could admire from a distance and project whatever I wanted onto. So conveniently easy to romanticize. But now, after seeing him like this, I find his face twisted up in joy even more beautiful. And that's the problem. I don't think watching him from across the room is enough anymore. I want to be the reason his voice cracks mid-laugh, the reason he wipes his eyes on his sleeve. I want to say things that make him laugh like that again. The truth is, I just really like his face in any shape or form, so naturally I want to see them all. But I'd rather write a 50-page essay on how the Taoist principle non-action relates to Ren Aizawa than admit that I'm just that superficial.